Hello, namaskar, adab, sat shri akal. A very warm welcome, everyone. आपका दोस्त आपका host RJ Varun is here. और आज बहुत ही special show है. Yes, we will not be playing any songs, which is not very common on the Varun Kapur show. But it's even better and it's even more important, for tonight to discuss about something which has been on everyone's mind. Anybody I see, anybody I meet, this has been on top of their mind that, once their city, their state opens up, how is it going to impact their life? How is it going to impact their business? How is it going to impact, on a personal level as well as on a professional level? So, इसी वजह से I thought, it is really, really, really important to get some facts, from the experts, from people who have been either on the front line or people who have, seen this from, very, very kind of close personal kind of level. So that's why I brought, and I've been very fortunate to be able to bring all these different kind of people from different, industries, different areas. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I'm really going to jump into this because, thankfully, thanks to all of you who send me so many questions, I think 1 hour is definitely not going to be enough. But I'm going to try my best to address all the questions that you've already sent. But without any further ado, I'm going to introduce this amazing elite panel that I have with me. And just to let you know, you're watching us, of course, on Facebook, but you're also listening to us on Radio Mirchi 1310 AM. And we are also live on Instagram as well. So anybody who wants to tag themselves, please feel free. Please share this as much as you want because the kind of questions, the kind of, discussion we're going to have, it will definitely be very, very, very useful. And something which you all have been waiting for a very long time. So yep, let's get right into it. So I'm going to start with, briefly introducing, and then let them kind of speak a little bit about themselves. So someone who has been on the front line, someone who has been handling, COVID-19 patients on a regular basis, someone who has been and I just got to know about it in the hospital for the last 50 days. So he's been in the hospital for 50 days. He's missed a couple of life events on a personal level, but someone who has been treating a lot of patients, Dr. Vijay Tiwari, and who was also part of our last conversation on the Varun Kapur show, who shed a lot of light, is back on the Varun Kapur show. So welcome, Vijayji.
Thank you, Varun, and thank you, listeners, to looking at us, and tuning to hear what we have to say. And apart from me, there are a bunch of experts from the community leaders across U.S. So thank you so much.
Sure. And, I like to call him my partner in crime and somebody I really look up to and look forward to. And surprisingly, I haven't met him in person, but someone who I always meet on my Facebook pages, on my social media, and someone who really, 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 I really adore this guy. Manish Judge is back on the show and really looking forward to all the amazing questions he's going to ask. I'm really, really impressed by the kind of questions he asked. So welcome, Manish, once again.
Thanks, VK. Thanks for doing this, man. And hello, everybody. Wonderful panel, all friends. And VK, you're a champ for doing this. And it's good to see all these people that I have a lot of respect for all on one screen. So thanks for having us, big guy. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you for making it. And then, of course, the Bay Area superstar, the celebrity who has not only won hearts by her beauty, but also with her voice, someone who has shared the stage with icons, across the world, I would say, and someone I really, really adore, not just because of the star status, but also because she is a professional, she's a mom, a wife, and someone who has gone through a lot, some stories which we've shared in the past, but today or tonight, it's all about, how, the industry that she kind of belongs to is also impacted with COVID. So I welcome Simantini to the Varun Kapur Show.
Thank you so much, Varun. It's a privilege and a huge opportunity to be a part of this. And hello to all the panel members, most of whom I know, and look forward to this session. Thank you, Varun.
Thank you. And and since I'm already talking about celebrities who have really made a name for themselves and for our country, so in that category, I think I can easily put Ranjan Dey in that same kind of bucket, because he has started 40 plus restaurants. He is a celebrity chef. He runs one of the amazing restaurants in San Francisco. And, I can go on and on about all his achievements, but welcome and thank you for giving me this opportunity, Ranjan, to be on the Varun Kapur Show.
Thank you, Varun. Yes, we are going through a tough time. Our restaurant, New Delhi restaurant, is the oldest Indian restaurant in San Francisco. We have been there 32 years, and we are a part of the legacy business of the city of San Francisco. That means city recognizes us as what makes the soul of the city of San Francisco.
Yep.
So the restaurant industry, the hotel industry, the event industry is deeply affected. And the number of people who works in this industry is very, very heavily labor intensive. So the number of people who are affected are really deep. On top of that, some of the major people who makes the numbers are people who are on the on the margin, so they have to work every day to meet their expenses, so they are suffering a lot, and we have to make sure they are back. And I am glad that you invited me to this panel so I can share stories of the whole industry.
My pleasure, and really looking forward to some of the insights, because I know you specifically also have been doing a lot, and we'll talk more about that. The next guest, of course, someone who I've known, I don't know, since 2005, from back home in India, and someone who has transformed herself completely from what she used to be to what she is right now. A celebrity blogger, fashionista, an amazing wife and a mom, and on top of that, also another professional who's doing pretty amazing in the financial industry, Mansi. So welcome to for the very first time to the Varun Kapur Show.
Thank you so much, Varun, and thanks for the wonderful introduction. I feel like this is a great opportunity for me, because so many different people from different backgrounds on this panel, and it's going to be a really good learning experience, not just to put my views out there, but also to know the perspective that maybe we are blindsided right now with. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm so glad I'm here today.
My pleasure, and thank you for making it. And last but not the least, another amazing human being who's been in the Bay Area for such a long time, who has been very active on social media as well, specifically related to the kind of business he is in, and someone I am pretty sure has also been impacted tremendously due to this COVID-19 situation, but someone who always keeps a smile, who always keeps the motivation high, and always inspires people to just continue living a normal life. So Ravi, welcome once again. It was nice to have you last time, and I'm really looking forward to tonight's conversation as well.
Thank you, Varun. Thank you for setting this up. I think a lot of people have questions, particularly about our industry, which is the real estate industry, in specifically in the Bay Area. A lot of companies are recently making announcements for continuing the work from home even beyond SIP, and I'm sure there will be a lot of questions out there. Happy to answer at least most of them, if whatever I can cover. But yeah, I mean, we as an industry are facing this, and I think facing it pretty well. I will touch upon a lot of things with whatever changes are happening in the industry, and how we look forward to moving ahead with other industries as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll definitely touch upon some of the questions which have been sent already. But let me just start with, some facts, some data, some numbers, and also someone who is seeing, this being on the front line. So Dr. Tiwari, you just mentioned, it's been 50 days. First of all, thank you so much for everything that you're doing, being on the front line and facing this situation head on, really commendable. But tell us a little bit about, all the challenges that you've seen till date, and also kind of, touch upon, there's a lot of, discussions going on and a lot of, media hype, I would say, created around opening up, not just, America, it's going all around the world. But specifically, we're going to focus, our Bay Area or overall U.S., what are your thoughts about this opening up, which is happening in phases right now, and some of the counties have already opened. So let's hear out from someone who has seen it all.
Absolutely. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Perfect. So, it was a learning experience, and we are still learning every day, every minute, every hour. So listeners, first of all, there is a huge difference that we have noticed as healthcare providers in Bay Area and the way we managed our, this pandemic compared to the rest of the world, including various parts of the U.S. itself and, rest of the world. One thing I would say that we are not seeing the similar number of cases that we were seeing about a month ago. Yet we don't know which way we are going to head. The reason is there are a bunch of patients who live in different healthcare settings. So be it boarding care, so be it skilled nursing facility, acute care centers, who are not sick enough to be in the hospital, but they are not well enough to be at home. So when these centers get one or two or three COVID positive patients, due to some reason, the government is trying to be proactive by closing some of these centers, and all these folks, they cannot go home. So they head towards the nearest hospital, and that by default, the government's ruling is, or orders are, anybody who is coming from a healthcare center, they should be tested for COVID-19 disease. And I'm glad to report that as an organization, in our organization, Kaiser Permanente, we are equipped very close to do almost 70,000 tests a week. So that's like 10,000 tests a day. And what we do is, our usual practice is when a patient hits the ED, we are doing something called quick test or rapid test, which is resulted within an hour, 1 hour. If the test is positive, we take that as a positive. If the test is negative, we don't take it as negative. That patient is still considered as PUI, patient under investigation. And then we run a PCR test on them, which is resulted anywhere between 15 to 18 hours, so give or take 1 day. And once that is negative, then we say negative. If it is positive, then we treat them. That's the testing part of it, Varun. And then listeners, as far as the medicine is concerned, we do have medication which is in the social media also. It's called remdesivir, and there are certain criteria that we have to meet before we can give it to a patient. It's still in the study phase, but we had many patients who were on remdesivir, and we have seen extremely positive results that we have seen as far as the COVID-19 disease is concerned. And the third most exciting news is the vaccine is also very close to be reported as to be out for public. It will take, though, at least a year by the time we will be at a level that we have the production to the point that everybody can get it or it is open for public. But the results from the vaccination is also very promising. I would not say it's as promising as the different variants of flu, but it's way too promising than what we thought about a few weeks ago, 3 to 4 weeks ago.
Awesome. That's really promising, and that's really encouraging, because a lot of people have so much anxiety right now, and specifically, if you compare any industry, I see people, walking on the street and marching against the closure, and they want the economy to kind of be, back to normal and all that stuff. And like, Ranjan is there, most of the restaurants has been, I was listening to someone and they said about 25 to 30% of the industry, the restaurants and the hotels, will be wiped off. That was I don't know how they came out with that number, but that kind of sounded a little realistic as well, because if I compare it to like myself, I will be very, very, very skeptical right now to go out. And that's why we wanted to have, this kind of conversation, so that, somebody who's always scared, somebody who's skeptical about whether I should go out and eat, whether I should go out and take my family, out to a restaurant, how is this going to change the dynamics, how, and Ranjan, maybe, onto you, how are you kind of planning once the city opens up? What are your plans? And I know you've been doing a couple of, very creative things, and maybe you should talk about those as well. But from a physical attribute perspective, if I walk into your restaurant, what are the different precautions and changes that you are kind of trying to bring to your restaurant?
I want to start slightly differently. I want to start with the philosophy. I totally feel every disaster has a seed of opportunity. It's how you deal with it. It's how you look at it to make that something which is an opportunity and rise above and beyond it stronger. So in this situation, I can only talk about myself. I am a small business. It is a business where my core team has been with me for 26 years, 6 of them. Therefore, for me, foremost is safety and the preservation of these 6 families. Second, it is like what cab companies used to be. When Uber came, when Lyft came, the cab companies never paid any attention. And suddenly, nobody calls for a cab. The restaurant industry is going to change. Fine dining, as you describe it, fine dining for me, I am a fine dining restaurant where right from Clinton to Amitabh Bachchan to everybody else came. So they're not going to come to a fine dining restaurant if I'm wearing a mask and a gloves. And then I'm going to give you a menu, which is a disposable menu. Then there is you sit one table, then there is a gap, and then there is another table. Nowadays, a lot of my friends are putting shower curtains across the little booths to separate it. So that's not going to happen. That is going to be at least a year and a half before we say what is normal in our industry is going to come back. Event industry, weddings. I mean, we do 50 Indian wedding catering every year. All of them are canceled. Some of them have been pushed back to November, but other than that, nothing is there. So how do we deal with it? So we wanted to be creative. Since we are fine dining, so our pricing is a little bit high. So we changed everything. My wife came up with this whole beautiful name, curbsidecurry.com. So we launched that right from our own kitchen. We lowered the price. We made things which is specialty. And now we are just going out and asking all our friends. The good thing is for us, we've been there for 32 years. We know the community very well because we have been a part of the community in enriching it with our Compassionate Chefs Cafe charity, with many other work. We're always in the middle of the community to enrich it. So now everybody is giving us a helping hand. and we are asking for it. I've never asked anything for myself until this happened, because I never planned for anything like that. And so this is the time to ask. And everybody is pitching in and helping. So I can only tell my stories. Things have to move differently to see how we can create an opportunity from it and come out stronger.
Right. Absolutely, and that's a very valid point. So Manish, you also being a business owner as well as someone who's been kind of impacted, what are your thoughts around that? And you know, to Ranjan's point, you know, it will take about a year or maybe longer before, you know, these things become normal. So how are you kind of imbibing these changes, and what are you doing?
Well, look, we're in a different space than Ranjan, right? We're quick serve, we're Subway, we're smaller. I think we're the last to be affected in a negative way and the first to be affected in a positive way because of the space that we occupy. So for us, it's very different. I'll celebrate 15 years in the business this Jan, so it's been a while. And you know, I think that we've never faced anything like this, no doubt. But unlike Ranjan, where we had it, you know, we don't depend so much on people coming in. I will admit that the first weeks out, our sales dropped 90%. That was a fact too. And I think now we're somewhere at about 50 of where we were supposed to be. But I think that, again, for us, we're not really reinventing how we are. We're just going to have to say, okay, can we maintain high standards? Are people comfortable? People are getting sick of eating at home. And I do know American culture. I mean, we love to eat out. That's just the culture, right? It doesn't matter whether you're going for the Hyderabad biryani or you're going for a pizza or going to Ranjan's joint or my joint or wherever. It doesn't matter. We love to eat out. That's just who we are. And then as Indians, we love to eat out even more. I mean, we party, right? That's kind of our lifestyle, right? So I think that what we're trying to do is we're just trying to ensure that the standards are really high, and that the microbiologist in me is like, okay, bleach the hell out of everything. I bleach everything. Dr. Thavar will be happy to know that everything's bleached. It's bleached every hour, you know? And so we're just trying to, I think that for us, that's the secret's going to be is just getting people again to be comfortable to be out. And we're seeing that already. And then now for us, Ranjan, third-party delivery has become a big deal. DoorDash has been absolutely humongous for us. And so that 50% that I'm talking about of where we should be, 45% of that is third-party delivery. We are implementing a curbside pickup, which will be the first for Subway, and I'm sure many other businesses have already done this. So people will have contactless, you know, you pop your trunk and they dump it in the trunk for you, and there you go. And so there's a pizza place up here in Danville, Garlex. That's where we go. The guys come and I pop the trunk and they throw the pizza in the back and we go home and that's it. So I think that's really where we're headed to is we're not going to see dining rooms open soon. And I think that, you know, VK, to your point, that people are just not going to be comfortable to be there. But then, VK, there's still the segment of the population that are see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And they live in the ignorance is bliss market world where they're like, hey, I don't care. So we still see people popping in without a mask. I've got a box of masks that I've got, you know, some surgical masks. I go, hey, you know, put that on and take it with you. You're going to need it wherever you go. And they refuse to believe that this is any worse than the flu, and they're not going to get it. And we're lucky that we've got Dr. T on our side, and I've got Amitesh, one of my best friends, and I know better. And, you know, and I went to grad school at UC Davis for microbiology, and I studied virology, and I know what the heck this is. It's nasty. So I think that people live in this ignorant bubble, and so those are the people that are going to come back in first, and they already are. So let me defer to the rest of the brilliant panelists. That's where we're at.
No, absolutely. I think you're spot on, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons actually why I'm doing this, because, you know, I've seen a lot of ignorant people, and there are people who are, you know, even on social media, I see, just to let you know, I mean, if you already don't know, I'm a little active on social media. Yes. So I see a lot of people, and ignorant would be the right word for them, because they have some superpowers, or they're really dumb, because really ready to go to beaches, they're ready to go to all these places and have party, and I also kind of know a few people who are ready to do some barbecues and all that stuff. I mean, this is not the time, and doctors have been saying that. A lot of data has been showing that, but somehow they still kind of fail to understand. But at the same time, I also want to kind of not judge them on that basis, because of course, even me, I also get bogged down. I also want to go out, but then the kind of fact hits me, right? That is it really worth it? Is it really worth going out right now when everybody, like Dr. Tiwari, right? I mean, he's been in the hospital for 50 days. This is no joke.
Yeah. Yep.
This is no joke, guys. I mean, everybody who's watching us, anybody who's listening to us right now, look at this. He has a family. He missed his, boy's 8th birthday because he was stuck in the hospital, handling these patients. So, somebody needs to kind of bring some kind of sense as well. And again, I don't want to go on a rant, but this is also going to impact a lot of other side businesses as well. Like, Simantini, you from the entertainment industry, I saw a lot of people on social media. Of course, they've all gone online. They're now on all the different, Zooms and WebEx and all that lives, and they're doing it. And they're doing certain events and even charging money because, of course, end of the day, they have to make money as well. But, this has changed the entertainment industry completely, right? And I don't think anybody, including the entertainment industry, was ready for this, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like any other industry, I think one of the biggest hit we took as a part of the entertainment industry was during this time, right? No one was anticipating such loss, not only from the growth perspective, but also from the exposure and from variety of events that one had planned. Mr. Day mentioned about weddings getting cancelled, right? Entertainment is a part of that wedding package. So weddings getting cancelled, entertainment is cancelled, right? The concerts are getting cancelled. We live in the Bay Area, and we know how much or how many events we get to witness in every weekend, right? Whether it's a local event, whether it's a concert, shows, live shows, but so badly hit. However, with every difficulty or every obstacle, I think human mind has this growth mindset, right? That we are very much aware from the business world, the terminology of growth mindset, and where we push ourselves, and that allows us to think outside the box, and which is why you see folks going online, whether they are doing live, whether they're finding different avenues to connect, keep that human engagement on. The other day that really caught my attention, and I joined the Instagram live of Justin Bieber. And a celebrity, a world star like him, he just went on Instagram live, and he was randomly connecting with people. The human engagement that we, at some point in our life, lost, right? We were all running in that rat race, trying to get money and this and that. And we somehow, somewhere, we just lost that human connection. Everybody's on the phone. People don't have the time. But the fact that he connected, he randomly picked accepted an invitation from someone who was in some part of the world, and he was generally connecting, and he goes about like how their lives are, what has been the impact. So this is the connection, and the best part is social media has given us that exposure of the global reach. Like, I sit at my home and I do my Facebook live, and I'm reaching the entire world, right? And I'm trying to produce content that is equally entertaining for others. Of course, as a professional artist, I don't want to compromise in the sound. So that's where the technology comes in, right? So I think we are all exploring outside. There are ways where maybe we are reinventing how we are producing our content, but trust me, I mean, I have been busier these days actually collaborating with everybody online.
Right. And to that point, right? I mean, that's also a very valid point. people like Mansi, who are known to create this kind of content. They've been on social media, and I think they, I've seen Mansi do this for I don't know how many years now, and you have a fan base. Do you see a lot of changes in the way you've been kind of collaborating and you've been kind of working on this, all due to this COVID situation?
Huge change, huge change. And I would say the change is in a good way, because earlier when I would create content, I never thought, I would post about a dress, but I never thought, does the audience really want to see that content in that particular time? But now I really have to think, what does the audience want? I don't want to be ignorant posting about, fashion and shoes and dresses. When there is COVID, when there are people suffering, I want to create content which is useful for the audience. So I think the blogging, it has changed. It has just changed the mindset where you are creating content for the audience rather than creating audience content for yourself, which is what I was doing earlier. I feel like, to what Ranjan was indicating earlier, we are gonna, we keep on saying we need to open the market, we need to go back on track. I don't think so that's happening. It needs to be a new world. It needs to be forward. We need to move forward. We cannot go back. There has to be changes in the way we think, in the way we create content, in the way we do things, in the way we connect with people. Everything needs to change. And I think the only thing that we need to think right now is the hope that we are moving forward and we are not going back with any of this.
Absolutely. And action is really, really critical. And, I'm in a way, the good part about this COVID situation is, it has brought a lot of people together. And one of the things that even happening in other industries as well, like, even realtor industry or the real estate industry, I've seen, all these real estate agents that I've known, I've interacted with, and those are very active on social media, they've also kind of used these tools, the social media tools, to bring the the buyers and sellers together. And they're kind of connecting that gap right now, which is huge, because as a buyer or as a seller, again, I would be very, very scared to go out, especially for any house that is, it's still occupied by the owner. I would definitely not go and look at it. And on the other side, I don't think even that seller would be happy to see me, browse through their house when they're inside and they don't have, like, I've been in a situation where, we go out of the house, we leave the house the way it is, and then, people come in like open house. But that's not the scenario right now. People are not going out. So to that point, Ravi, I mean, how have your, the sellers and buyers that you work with, how are they kind of getting used to social media or online version of house search and selling and buying?
So just like everything else going virtual, we as realtors have always, taken advantage of the virtual world, the social media, in, getting leads and, making sure our properties are sold on time and at the best price. Now, COVID has accelerated that entire virtual world, right, for realtors. We're doing, a brilliant amount of open houses all through virtual tours. Just like a typical open house, in the past, where you have, buyers coming into your house. What is happening now is we realtors set up an open house, schedule it, market the same on social media, MLS and Redfin, etc., everywhere on a particular day and time. And we invite buyers who are interested in these homes to come join us virtually in a virtual open house. So what that helps us as realtors and real estate industry is we can answer each and every buyer's question, as against previously where you have 15 people roaming around the house. You can only talk to one at a time, right, as a realtor. In this case, just like a regular Zoom call, buyers are asking us questions, we're getting back to them promptly, just about everything. And then obviously followed that up by in-person and private tours, which which there are certain guidelines that have been set by the California Association of Realtors. We're following those guidelines, things like, disinfecting the house before and after the private tours, making sure the buyers, come there show up with a mask on and not without, or the doors, handles, typically whatever the, people would touch when they're visiting a house are all sanitized, before and after. So we've been given a set of guidelines. I'm with Intero. Intero is, adapting to above and beyond the guidelines that CAR is, or California Association of Realtors is giving us, being the professional company that it is doing everything, providing us with the, all the tools to help our buyers and sellers continue with their transactions and their journey in their real estate, whatever they're doing, either buying or selling. To answer your question, yeah. So pretty much, everything is going virtual.
Yep. That's the state of affairs right now, and it looks like that's going to be the state of affairs. Now, going back to Samantini, a lot of you mentioned, these concepts, especially Bay Area, right? I mean, we were known every weekend, and our weekend, like sometimes used to start on a Thursday evening, and then Fridays and Saturdays, everything was booked. Now, you also are kind of, you kind of work for or with all these big event organizers. What is going on in their mind? Looking at the situation right now, and for example, like stand-up comedians, they can still have these WebEx and Zooms, but stars like Hrithik Roshan's or Shah Rukh Khan's, they won't get into a WebEx or a Zoom meeting and perform for people, right? So how is that impacting the mindset of all these big sponsors as well, or event organizers?
Yeah, great question. So I think so let me rethink. So one of the things that has, and you may have also seen that, you mentioned Shah Rukh Khan and Hrithik Roshan, which is why I'm bringing this topic. The entertainment industry, from that's the actors and actresses where you cannot go in Zoom and actually act it out, right? That's not going to happen. But what they're doing is they are releasing their movies in OTT platforms, right? And for example, tomorrow, in fact, today, 22nd in India, Gulabo Sitabo is getting released on Amazon, I think. And yesterday, Ayushmann and Amitabh Bachchan and Shujit Sarkar, they came online and they did a mini chit chat, right? Just to kind of get that excitement on. People are binge watching, right? So people are at the comfort of their house. They have the options. I think technology advancement has made it a little bit easier. Now that's that side of the house. When you come to the live gigging, live concerts, that side of the house, it's a little bit tricky. I will be very honest, because right at this situation, you would not probably expect a 10,000 auditorium capacity getting filled for a concert that we had the privilege or we witnessed in the past, right? That probably will take some time. That's in my personal opinion. However, Live Nation yesterday, I believe, what they are doing is they are actually, they have kind of trimmed down the capacity of the audience from few hundreds to 100, and they're testing it out. Again, pilot initiatives. But for now, one of the things that we are, I'm saying we as in I'm representing another concert tour promoter company, we are actually exploring into bringing live events, streaming live events as a band. We are looking into that opportunity.
Very, very nice. I think, yeah, everybody has to get creative and everybody has to kind of, use the online mode for the, I mean, as much as I want to be, optimistic, but I think till the end of the year, it really doesn't look like, even if we open up, even if we find, all the cure medicines and everything, but still people's confidence level would not be at the same level. I think it'll definitely take some time. Now, I also want to touch upon a couple of things, Dr. Tiwari, while you're also here. A lot of questions have come in, and I really want to address those questions as well. So I'm going to jump right into some questions before I get back to all of you. One of the things that has been on everybody's mind, and one of the questions that came in is, if COVID-19 is categorized just as a flu, then what is taking so long to get the right kind of medication? I understand, it has to be, tested on people. It takes some time, get FDA, accreditation and approvals and all that stuff. But, still people are somehow not getting that kind of confidence that we'll be able to find or we have something in sight right now. So you want to share some insight on that?
Sure. So for listeners, I just wanted to let you know that, this virus has shown us, this virus has taken us by surprise. It has shown us extremes of, pathology. In some patients, we are seeing clotting disease or clotting disorders. In other extreme, we are seeing bleeding disorders. Some patients, we are seeing, nausea and vomiting and upper respiratory tract symptoms. And some of the patients, we are seeing diarrhea and the lower GI symptoms. There is not one pattern that we have recognized yet that I can say, okay, this is going to be the realm, or this is going to be the limit. We are learning every single day. One very important thing, not to be too scientific, but just for folks who are interested, there is a phenomenon in this disease process that we have seen. It's called cytokine surge. It's like, cytokines are the chemicals which are very irritating chemicals, and they cause lots and lots of cell damage. You can think it as kind of very harsh acid on skin. So we see a cytokine surge, and we have been monitoring the numbers of these, some of the interleukins, they are called. So again, having said all these things, calling it just like yet another flu, maybe I would not say it's an understatement. It's a foolishness, because what we see in the hospital, it's not very pleasant. And I pray to God that none of us and nobody on this earth should be infected with this. Having said all these things, and government making a decision based on the numbers, and I'm pretty sure that they have better data to make these decisions. But I beg you guys and request you guys, whoever is watching us and listening to us, please do not take it light. Please maintain social distancing, even within house when you are at your own home. Do not go out in public and just start behaving as if this phase is gone. Please be safe. There are many things that I used to say in various other shows, that if you do this, you will save others. I'm bluntly going to say that if you maintain social distancing, hand washing, sanitization, you will save yourself before you save anybody else.
Right. Absolutely true, Dr. Tiwari. And another thing which which also came up was, there's a lot of talk around hydroxychloroquine. And thanks to a few people in the wrong spots, I would say, who are kind of promoting it in whatever way they are. People are really worried, and I read an article. I think somebody in the Midwest was trying to order this, for his family, and this is something which I don't know, should be done, should not be done. But what's your thought process, and not thought process, I would say, because you definitely have the facts, right? So what is your take on that? And should people be consuming or taking this right now, or you want to shed some light?
Sure. And Varun sir, first of all, not to pull your legs, because if you fall, it will be big damage. It's hydroxychloroquine. It took almost 13 years of medical school for us to pronounce this. So, folks, there's a special branch of medicine which is called epidemiology. And these are the specialized physicians who know what's happening, what's the pattern of a disease, how is it diverse, where is it concentrated, where is it kind of not there. So a bunch of epidemiologists started looking very early during the COVID pandemic, what is happening, which are the areas which are not affected. Um, and based on that very primitive data, we found, in fact, the epidemiologists found that wherever there was an epidemic of malaria, the number of COVID-19 cases were very less. Now, India was one of them, and back then we had a few hundred cases of, COVID-19 disease back in India. Now we know the truth. So the whole idea is this, malaria, just to be, very clear, malaria is a disease of being not clean. It's a disease of not being sanitized, water clogging, mosquitoes and whatnot. It has nothing to do with COVID-19. And now coming back to hydroxychloroquine, it's an anti-malarial drug. It is an anti-parasitic drug. It kills the parasite, and that too in a very specific phase of its life cycle. Has no data against direct cure of COVID-19 disease or any coronavirus for that matter. In fact, we have seen some adverse reactions on people who were on hydroxychloroquine or azithromycin is an antibiotic for that matter. They prolong one of the phase of the heart rhythm, which is called QT. It causes QT prolongation, and that sometimes causes a very fatal arrhythmia, or very fatal kind of rhythm, which can kill people. And many people have lost their life when they were put on hydroxychloroquine early on if they were not monitored as they should be. And there were many cases under my care also that we have found that if we see that there is a QT prolongation on day one, we just have to drop the drugs because it will cost a life.
Okay, all right. I think that kind of clears some myths for a lot of people who are trying to be more creative around the medication. I'm going to jump to Ranjan for a second. So Ranjan, I know the curry side, the customized version of, or the more smarter version of ordering food and getting it delivered or picking it up. What are the other things that you're doing? Because you also have a lot of, like you mentioned, right? I mean, 6 different families kind of who are dependent on this. And the most important thing for them right now working in the restaurant would be safety, would be all the precautions that even Dr. Tiwari mentioned earlier. So what are you doing as the owner, as someone who has handled these different situations, but nothing like this? So what are you doing for the protection and safety of your people?
The first thing we did was to make sure they're safe. And how do we do that? The way we do it is by scheduling people differently. So I have 3 people in the kitchen who are all-rounders. So I have scheduled one person for 2 days, and then another person come the next 2 days, and then the third person come the other day. So there's no 2 people in the kitchen to start with. Then there is one person outside who is actually handling the food, putting it in the bags and bringing it out. The door is closed. Nobody can come inside the door of the restaurant. So you are going to order online, and then there is many posters outside which says, as you arrive, call this special number. That number rings inside when you are coming to pick up the food, whether it is a DoorDash or a Postmates or a Grubhub or a Uber Eats, they have to call that number. So when they call that number and the food is ready, this other person who is front of the house. So we have one person back of the house, doesn't interact at all with the front of the house. So there is way more than 6 feet, in between them. And then they bring the food out, They open the door. We don't take it and put it in the trunk. We just open the door and hand it. And once we hand it, we clean the inside door handle, the outside door handle. We change the gloves. The person bringing the food out is wearing a face shield as well. So that if somebody is talking to you and you have no idea, these delivery people are going to so many places, you have no idea. And so we don't take any chances. So this is how
Right,
we
right.
do it right now. And as it goes forward, we are going to be creative about it. But it is an opportunity. I really think it is for us to decide how we handle this. And we can create amazing opportunities. To tell you one of the things, one of the fantastic things, for the first time in my life, I am having breakfast, lunch, and dinner with my family, which has never happened before.
All right.
And
Yeah, so that's a good thing, right?
rediscovering each other, and
Yep.
and another way of creating. Yeah, we do need the income stream, but there's so many creative ways to do it, and
Right.
definitely, it's something which we need to really embrace. And
Absolutely. I completely agree. Couldn't agree more. Actually, to that, just a funny thing. I today, at roughly about because we have an off tomorrow. So I was just, chatting with my boss and all that stuff. So I did mention to her that, my little one, the younger one, has started to like me more because now she gets to see me more. Every time she's eating something or she's doing something in the kitchen, she comes running to my room. She keeps on banging the door till the time I don't eat that or I don't drink with her. She doesn't eat. So yes, this is the cute side of the situation right now, because earlier, all she used to see us was, we used to drop her at like 8 o'clock in the morning, pick her up at 6 in the evening. The whole day she's at the daycare. Now 24/7 we are there. Yeah, she wakes up, she sees one of us. She sleeps with one of us. So yeah, it's so on that note, Mansi, how's you're a mom as well. I'm sure it's not easy creating all the content, the amazing content that you used to create earlier now. And I see, your kids part of your kind of social media, more often now in the pictures and the videos. It wasn't the case, I think, earlier. But
Yeah.
what's the new norm? What's the new norm? Because now you won't be able to go out and about and click those amazing pictures, amazing backdrops and all that. And you have to do all that in the vicinity maybe of your house or just your city itself. So how's you kind of taking that?
That's such a good question. And again, I'm going to go back to Ranjan. I'm like, resonate with what he says, because you have to get creative. And like I mentioned earlier, now my content is more based on what audience wants. Even earlier, I used to get a lot of DMs, for example, how do you do, let's say, as an example, what self-care tips? What do you do for self-care at home? I never had the time because I was, working. I work in New York City. I commute. I have like 3 hours of commute. I'm not going to sit and create video because I just don't have the time. But now is the time. Instead of taking those beautiful pictures outside, which maybe not everyone might resonate to. They look at the pictures. They say, amazing. What a beautiful dress. But do they even have, places to wear those dresses? Maybe not. But the videos that now I create, which is more like self-care, how can you take care of yourself? How do you work out? How do you do different things at home? More people are getting engaged and more people are connecting with the content that I'm creating now. So again, I think it goes back to how we take all of this. Do we get creative about it and take it one step further? Or do we think we want to go back to creating beautiful pictures? I don't think. I think it's given me that opportunity to, think out of box, connect more with my audience, ask them questions. What do you want? What do you want to hear? What do you want to, read? And maybe create content on those bases, basically.
Right. And before I move to Manish, but one question that definitely came for you, with such a job, with demanding job, let me just say that, with 2 kids and of course a husband at home, how do you manage to do all what you do on social media? Where do you get that time and energy and that glow on all of the beautiful content that you create on social media? Where do you get that energy, the time, and the flawness?
Is that a question to me?
Of course, not for Manish.
I thought I was.
I know Manish is beautiful too, but
once I did think it was for Manish. Okay.
especially when I see him with his high heels on. Oh my gosh, he's looking good.
It's a tough question. At the end of the day, I think I'm tired, but my priority always is my full-time job, which is working for an investment bank. I get paid from there. I need to give my 100% there. My priority, not second, but equal priority is my kids and my home, because I need to be focused there. I find time to create the content that I create because that is my passion. And I love doing it. Even if I have to sit till 2 a.m. in the night and write a blog post, I will do it because that's my time. That's kind of self-care for me. That's me time, and I'll invest that extra time in what I love, basically. So that's how I prioritize, I would say.
Got it. All right. I was just pulling your leg, but Manish, maybe you want to answer the same question.
Oh my
You
God.
look so flawless.
Well, I don't think I want to answer that question, my friend. Now, look, it's all about a balancing act. And I think that this thing is, Samantha and I both wear all kinds of crazy hats, right? We both are musicians. We both have a daytime job and a nighttime job. We both have families and we have friends. And I think the one thing that's really been interesting about this is it's forced me to rediscover myself. Yeah. And I've got a chance to unlearn what I've learned and relearn what I initially learned. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm sitting in my music studio here behind me. Samantha's been up here. We've done some stuff. There's my tabla set. It's all set. And every night I come and I hide in here after everybody, and I practice music, and I've been collaborating with different artists like Simi around the world and doing my thing. And then I'm just doing things that make me happy and things that I forgot about. And I think that it's just a balancing act. And I think I feel before I felt like a juggler who kept on dropping balls, and now I feel like I've got less balls to juggle, but I'm doing a good job of juggling them all, if that makes any sense at all, in my own weird, crazy idea that I'm doing a hell of a job. I'm not dropping any balls. And so, we've relaunched Ranjan's good buddy and mine, Anna Sarkar, and Simi's buddy. We're doing our TV show again. And you saw the Pankaj Das interview that I did, right? We aired that the other day. And like, we're doing that again. And we had been kind of missing that. And like, everybody was so thinly spread that it's like, okay, we've got a chance to kind of, tighten up again. And yes, I've got a teenage son and he's 15 and he probably sees me too much. And then I've got a 12-year-old and he sees me too much. And my wife sees me too much. And it's like everybody's.
Yeah, that definitely is not good.
Right? But like, the good news is like everybody, like Ranjan was saying, that everybody's forced now to just kind of, be back again in that thing. Like Dr. Tiwari, you're the exception here. Like, you're at the hospital, sir. That's what you picked. You don't get to do this. Sorry. But even I'm sure even in your world too, you're thinking and you're seeing all of this, and maybe you haven't, you read about it in the textbooks and maybe you trained for certain things, but you never saw this. Amit Desh and I were talking about it the other night, that this is the first time that you guys have seen this. So he's also thinking a lot too about things he didn't think about. And he's reinventing things that, he hasn't thought about. So I think that like even Samantha said too, that they're thinking like, okay, now maybe we're just going to have an empty hall and we're going to get the artist and we're going to live stream it. Well, I was thinking about that too, that, okay, I'm going to have my next concert is going to be with the, you know, Cementany, the dividers, the tall dividers, the clear plexis. I'm going to have 6 of those on stage, and I'm going to have 10 cameras, and then we're going to broadcast this darn thing, and we're going to have nobody in the audience, and then that'll be it. But that's how we're going to reinvent the wheel. So I don't know, man. I think I like what Monsi said too, and I think that it's just about, and even Ravi too. It's like, hey, now we can't take 10 people into a Sunday open house. It's going to be one person, and we're going to disinfect the hell out of the house before we get there, and disinfect it on the way out. And even with Rungeon said, you know, I've got the shield. So I love what I'm hearing. If you get it, I'm picking up from everybody, and I'm just saying, you know, we're reinventing ourselves. But I like what's going on. Every cloud has a silver lining, and unfortunately, it's taken 80,000 deaths in the United States for us to slow down and really think about what the hell, where are we going, man? What are we doing? What are we doing, right?
Almost 100,000. Just to you know, add, it's like close to 95K, almost 100,000. Not a good stage, but yep, that's and you know, just to kind of you know bring a little bit of humor, you know, it has also started a lot of new businesses. You know, I saw, you know, I don't know if it's fake or real, but you know, Louis Vuitton coming up with those creative masks. I mean, who would have thought Louis Vuitton coming up with something like that? And all of a sudden, ladies don't want those big purses and bags and shoes and, you know, whatever. Now they want those masks. And that's going to be the new fashion trend.
For now.
So maybe, Ravi, that's a good option for you as well, right? I mean, selling a house, you know, you should be giving away one of those Louis Vuittons, and maybe you'll have more buyers. What do you say?
Yeah, it's a good idea, Varun. I can market that, saying that, you know, you get a mask free with a house.
Absolutely, you know. I'll tell you another kind of funny thing. Again, I'm trying to make it a little light as well, but, you know, I say Newark, and there's I think a realtor who kind of sells a lot of houses here. So I think right before COVID, you know, he put in these signs, and on top of the sign, he says, free pizza if you buy a house with me. So, I mean, look at the creativity of this guy. I mean, buying $1 million house and you're giving a $30, maybe $40 pizza, but, you know, at least he's kind of pulling people in. So, yeah, why not? So in the real estate industry as well, you know, a lot of impact for sure. But, you know, the prices have definitely not shown that sign. And the second thing is, I just heard about, you know, like Facebook came up and, you know, announced today, they're going to let people work from home, and the people have to inform where you are. You know, you cannot just be, say, somewhere in the Midwest or somewhere. If you're in California, you'll have a different pay scale. If you're out of California, you'll have a different pay scale. Will that impact, you know, the housing industry and people looking at purchasing houses in different other cities, states versus California?
Yes. So let me just divide your question into two. One, how the market has held up so far. You know, basically, if you think about it, the inventories are low right now, right? While we may have lost about 40% of the buyers from the market who are sitting on the sidelines and thinking, hey, this will impact prices. At the same time, we've lost 60% of the sellers. So while the Bay Area market was anyways had a supply and demand problem, this has increased that problem. Sellers do not want to, you know, put their homes on the market, again, for the same reason that, you know, people, they don't want people walking around their homes. Plus, you know, they don't have anywhere to go once their homes are sold as well, right? So they have deferred selling their homes at the same time, which has resulted in a higher inventory. Now, when it comes to announcements by Facebook and other companies, it's too early to say how that will impact, but at the same time, you know, for us as realtors, there might be opportunities, you know, as well as for buyers. They don't have to live and work, you know, close by, right? If you're working for Facebook, you can go and live in Mountain House. Even if you want to continue living within California, you can go to Tracy. You don't have to live in Menlo Park where Facebook is, or or Fremont, right? Typically, Facebook
Right.
employees live there. So yes, there will be an impact on the prices. Is my, just like everything else, everything will get impacted. But what that impact would be, time will say. And again, if you heard Mark say, he said within 5 to 10 years, they want their employees to be working, a large section of their employees to be working from home. So 5-10 years is a long period for us to understand what that impact would be today, so.
True. Absolutely. And going back to Ranjan, and I know we are almost at the top of the hour, but so Ranjan, with this curry side, I want to give you an opportunity as well, to kind of spread the word about, how and what you're doing, as well as, if somebody in San Francisco, in like Bay Area, they want to order, do you have certain restrictions right now? What are you kind of what is your jurisdiction like? What is your delivery, area and all that stuff? So if you want to talk a little bit about, because, I know a lot of New Delhi restaurant fans, around the Bay Area, and they've been missing on that. I saw a lot of social media posts as well, and you've been getting a lot of support as well, no doubt about that, and you deserve every bit of it. But tell us, a little bit about, how and what they can do and how they can also support, your business as well.
So thank you very much. The curbsidecurry.com and newdelhirestaurant.com is where you can go and order. We deliver all over San Francisco through Grubhub, through DoorDash, through Postmates, through Uber Eats. Then we have Caviar. However, for suburbia, we are taking orders. We do need the orders coming in a day before, and we have a private delivery service for that, but we need a minimum of $300 order and a $50 delivery fee for that. But beyond this, I really want to share that I know, Dr. Tiwari, you are doing amazing, and my hat's off to you. My heart is there for you, and I really applaud you for this. But another way, what COVID has done to us is given us a chance to slow down, and created a gap where we can go and really enjoy the texture of the life and be creative about it and actually become closer to the human race, to each other. I have never had a chance, being in this industry, I have seen way more things which is so crazy, and I'm a storyteller, so crazy, way beyond, you cannot even imagine things which I have seen. But this is giving me a chance to start, this is how I am being creative, to start a subscription where people can listen to certain stories. And the heading of this blog is going to be called Scandalous Recipes with Twisted Inside Stories.
Wow.
How cool is that? It is a fiction and a non-fiction series. But everybody is going to be so much more creative and come up with real content. So those little fluffs are not going to work anymore. I think it's real things which is going to work, and the connection. And thank you for putting me in this panel and being able to share some of the stories.
Absolutely. No, it was really a pleasure. Now, I have some last few questions, Dr. Tiwari. I really want to address those questions. And these are coming especially from some animal lovers as well. A friend who has a dog, the most important question, and I really resonate with this question because I see a lot of people walking their dogs and, cats in my community as well. How do they protect their pets? There were a couple of stories coming in that in zoos, there were certain animals who were infected with COVID. Now, as humans, we are putting up these masks, these gloves. What about our animals? What about our pets?
So, honestly, I don't have exact data on this question, but one thing I can say that when we say social distancing, it mostly involves distance between two human beings and a family member. Now, what happens if we don't practice this? We touch the same thing like fomites, a telephone or a pen or pencil or, in the store, railings and all kinds of things. And even that is not a problem. The problem starts when after touching, we start doing this or this or this or many other areas, where it touches a mucous membrane. Now, my humble suggestion would be with animals. You might have seen either whether it is cats or dogs or any other domestic animal. They don't put their finger in their nose and ears and whatnot. But if there is any suggestion of somebody who is sneezing or coughing, just maintain a distance. Animals have amazing way of regulating their immune mechanism, especially with their saliva and all those things. But I would say the same rule applies. Nothing, including remdesivir. Probably I'm speaking too soon, but I can still boldly make this statement. Nothing but social distancing has been proven to be the best mechanism to either delay or avoid COVID-19 disease, including any vaccination, any medication, any groups of medication, ICU admissions, intubation, closing the patient, and all kinds of things. Social distancing by far has proven to be, the blessing to human beings. We just have to, like Mr. Day was saying, that they are doing so many things just to deliver food and then going back. If this was just yet another flu, God bless us, he didn't have to do all those things, and so does Ravi or any one of us. And Manish Bhaiya is also in his in his business also. He didn't allude on to the supply chain demand and all those things, but we are dealing with so many things that we are being very cautious. So please, those who are walking their their pets, just start practicing the same thing we would have done for our own kids, our own selves. I don't have a specific answer. Like, I've seen some pictures of masks and all those things. Honestly, I don't have a data to kind of propose that.
Got it. So last two questions, which I really want to, have you answer. I think we touched upon this last time as well, Dr. Tiwari, but again, just for everyone who's watching and listening right now, there have been comments around, rinsing the nose with saline products. That kind of protects and that not cure, but prevents COVID. Is that, or you want to add something to that?
Sure. So somebody who has no other option but to go in public and get some groceries and whatnot, or in business which deals with public relationship, I would suggest that first of all, every time that you are touching something which can be touched by any public entity, wash your hands. And wash your hands with soap and water. And please sing the full song, no cutting corners, full happy birthday to you. And let's sing it for Varun. And two cycles of this while you are just, kind of rubbing this. And again, the best way is, I would like to show, it's this palms together, then between the fingers, then your thumb, around the thumb on both the hands, then the nail beds on both the hands, and then again, just rub the back of the hand. And if you are doing it right with, the soap, it'll take that much time, and then just rinse your hands. Now, once you have done that, then I would suggest when you are wiping your hand, whether it is towel or a paper towel, just wipe around your nose also. And then if you really want to do a neti pot or whatever, because salt is antiviral medication, because that shrinks the cells. It's fine, but please start with hand washing and then wiping. Any entry port should be kind of cleaned properly. Manish, I will understand. He is a microbiologist, so.
Dr. Tiwari, after that, I was ready. Let's go do surgery. You made us do such a good job. I was like, let's come over, get the scalpel, let's do this.
I'm going to use that on my tandoori chicken, and you're going to use that on your sandwich.
He got us going so good. I was following him, and I was like, okay, nail bag, wrists, arms, scrub. Okay, I'm ready.
My
Right.
son-in-law created this laser scalpel. He got his PhD in UC Berkeley. He's a biomedical engineer. And I said, yeah, I want one of those. And I said, no, you can't have it. I'm like, yes, I want it. Because I want to put New Delhi restaurant logo on my tandoori chicken with it. No.
All right. One last question, which I have, and then I'll kind of leave it to everyone to maybe ask one question or talk a little bit about. What about ginger and garlic products? The people have been kind of talking about that, and that also includes turmeric as well. So these three ingredients, and that's what they're, again, there's no data to support this, Dr. Tiwari, so don't kind of count me on that or, quote me on that, but there have been some kind of social media pages or posts that say, Indians somehow have been impacted less due to their intake of, turmeric and garlic and ginger in their food. Do you agree with that, or do you suggest we should, have this as a part of our regular meal?
So great question, Varun. And, this is the opportunity that I would kind of jump into a message here. See, having home food, stay home, cook at home, eat with family, spend time with family, that's the best thing. We may not be as fashionable as Ranjan sir, those fancy food, but if you are cooking at home, that's the best. Now, coming back to turmeric, ginger, and garlic, all three share one common property, that they are all antioxidant. What I mean by that, there is a system in the cells which is called beta-chlorine system. It causes the cell death. And these three things, by their property of antioxidation, they delay the aging of the cell and the killing property of the cell, which is we call in science apoptosis. They delay that process. In some cells, they will even kind of cancel that. So, having said that, it's a kind of support system, I would say. It is a way to boost your immunity. On the top of that, turmeric has an extremely potent antiseptic property. So if somebody has a tiny bit of an infection, not to a point that it has gone to your bloodstream, it has a very, very good property to kind of make a barrier. If we remember back in India, when we get married, it happened to me at least, that you will be kind of given a paste of turmeric and sandal. So that cleans you up the whole body. So those were the reasons why Indians behaved the way they do, and they added those ingredients in their food. So I would strongly propose that those who are making food at home and using these three products should continue to use it, because it has definitely protection mechanism on your immunity, not only for COVID, not only for bacteria, not only for fungus or parasite, or even tiny bit of kind of common flu. It has quite a protective mechanism which will save your immunity or boost it.
Yes, if I can add to it, I did a whole series of dishes after the COVID were designed with Ayurvedic balancing. And the 5 ingredients which I use for cooking those are turmeric, ginger, garlic, cinnamon, and cayenne, because those are the 5 items or spices which can boost your immunity the most. And some of them, as you know, have all these other things. And it was received very, very well.
Perfect.
And one more thing I would say, Varun, is that I was trained in Kerala as my medical school, And Kerala is supposed to be the state where they use a heavily, Ayurvedic-based diet and lots of spices. And that's where I learned all these things. And God bless all the Malayalis who have given me opportunity to be trained there. So that's why I know.
Wonderful.
Great, great. So thank you, Dr. Tiwari. Anybody else have any questions for Dr. Tiwari before I try to end the session? Anything for Dr. Tiwari? Because I know all of you have different kind of things going on in your, minds. So this is a great opportunity to get the facts straight.
Dr. T, you're a hero, buddy. You're a hero.
Yep.
Yeah, I know you keep praising me, but I'm who I am because of Ashirwad from elder brothers like you.
Of course, but you are a hero, and we love you, man. We applaud you for all you do, man. Seriously.
Absolutely.
All of
Thank
us.
you so much for everything that you do,
Yeah.
Dr. Tiwari.
It's awesome that you can come and join us and hang out with VK and all of us out here and share your knowledge, and your knowledge is beyond, but the fact that you can take time out for all of us and all of VK's viewers, I mean, I love it. And of course, I love hanging out with everybody else here. It was so much fun. You guys were awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. No, absolutely. So before I end, of course, Ravi, once again, thank you for making time. We will definitely do, more of these sessions. I think I've been a little slow on these because, because of course, the other things happening around me. But we'll definitely do more on the real estate as well. So thank you for joining, and really love talking to you as well. Anything you want to say before we say goodnight? And I'm going to go to each one of you as well.
Just one thing, Ravi, I'm sorry. Just one thing is that I want to let your listeners know that if they have any question, and Varun if there is a way they can connect with you, and we can definitely offline answer those questions, because this is a time where we need to support each other. And sorry, Ravi, go ahead.
Absolutely.
No, that's
and sorry, Ravi, I'm going to cut you as well. I just want to respond back. That was one of the things, Dr. Tiwari, I was thinking of calling you offline to do that, but I'll take this opportunity. A lot of people have been requesting if we could do something like a regular kind of touch point. We don't have to do it like an hour and a half, but maybe a 30 minutes checkpoint with you to kind of get these myths, out for them as well. So I will definitely work with you, and let's do that every week if possible, because there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of anxiety in every one of our minds, and it definitely helps to have people like you kind of help with that. So I'll work with you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Sure.
Go ahead, Robbie.
No, all I want to say, Varun, is that with every crisis there is an opportunity. Just like Ranjan said that he's adapting to his restaurant business, fine dine restaurant business. I think we humans are very good at adapting, and this will bring a lot of wanted change in us, like spending more time with family, things like that. So I think whatever opportunities are out there, we as humans should accept it and run with it. When it comes to the real estate industry, again, there is a silver lining. There'll be a lot of different markets that will come up due to this. People moving into further than the Bay Area, those markets will see an appreciation in prices. People moving out of state, certain geographies will see an appreciation. I do a lot of commercial real estate as well. We have shopping centers that are adapting to this change. We have several restaurants, where are asking, us as landlords for help on their rents, etc. There's a lot of things that are going on, and but as we move forward, we're learning with that, and I see a lot of silver lining in general for the U.S. economy. I think a lot of manufacturing will be back. There'll be a lot of states in the Midwest that aren't contributing as much to the GDP as the coast are will start contributing to the GDP if the manufacturing comes back. So overall, we need to look at this as a silver lining and see what's there to come in the coming decade.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, and thank you for joining tonight. Ranjan, any parting words?
I just want to say that, these are the defining moments in life. when things are all hunky-dory and happy and all wonderful, those are not the defining moments. This is the defining moment. And how you deal with it, how you come up and over on the other side of this is going to make you stronger. So let's have faith. This too shall pass. And thank you for being, so proactive about it, Varun. And I am very honored to be on the same panel. And thank you, sir.
I'm really honored to have you on this panel as well, as I'm sure I'm equally honored to have everybody. All right, Mansi, any parting words? And thank you for joining as well. I know it's pretty late for you, 11:30, almost midnight, with 2 kids. Hats off to your husband. I know you forgot to mention him, but I'll mention his as well. Mansi, you're mute. 1 second. Let me unmute you.
Okay.
Yes.
So, so I was saying, no, thank you so much for having me on this panel. It's really an honor, and thanks to my husband as well, definitely. 2 main things that I do want to say to all the listeners. One, it's upon us the information that we share on the social media. It's not, you don't have to be a blogger, you don't have to be an influencer. Everyone has the power of influencing, even if it's 5 people or 50 people or 500 people or 1 million people. It's on us the information we share, because how we process information versus how somebody else processes information is very different. And second main thing that I want to say is that we need to look around and support as much as we can. Local businesses or somebody who might have lost job. There was this person on our at the train station who used to serve coffee. Some of us commuters got together, opened up a GoFundMe page. He's really struggling right now, and we were able to donate, get some funds together for him and give it to him. Nice. So I think we just need to get together and try and see, we're living in a bubble. Just look outside of that bubble and see where is it that we can support and help people around. I think that's very, very important in this time. So that's it.
Very
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks, Mansi, for staying so long. And between Manish and Samantini, I'm gonna juggle. Maybe Samantini, again, same for you. You have a daughter who I'm sure wants to be with you. And thank you for making this time and extending it actually beyond what we had initially thought. So really, really appreciate that. I was supposed to kind of put you on spot. Because you have such an amazing voice, and how could I not, request? I don't know if it's possible, but if you want to hum few lines for all the people, or let me put you on a bigger spot, if you want to sing something for Dr. Tiwari. How about that?
Yeah.
As a thank you note.
VK, before she does that, see my screen right here? It's kind of hard to see. Can you guys read what that says? It says line of descent.
Yes.
Okay, so my friend, this is a film that I was honored to do the soundtrack for. It features Brendan Fraser, Abhay Deol, Ronit Roy, and Prem Chopra, and our very own Samantini, who sang an amazing track for this song, collaborated with me and a buddy of hers, May Clinton, and her voice is awesome. And it's in the film, and it's a totally amazing film. It's on Amazon Prime now, Line of Descent, but don't watch it with the family. It's got a lot of bad words.
All right, so you gave me something to watch tonight. I have an extended long weekend. This is gonna be my first movie tonight.
And there's a club scene where you'll hear her voice. You'll hear it very clearly. It's her. So anyways, I'll take it. I'll move away from there.
Very nice. Congratulations, Anthony. You should talk about this. You should tell us.
Probably the next show when me and you get an opportunity to do a lot of the fun stuff. No, it was an absolute pleasure and an honor to be a part of this panel, and it was really heartwarming to hear what Dr. Tiwari had to say. I come from a medical background. My father is 78 and he is a practicing ENT surgeon. So, wow. So I have a lot of medical stuff, but I know the amount, and he still is practicing. So he is as well. He's not treating COVID patients, but he's also probably considered to be one of the frontliners, at least dealing with patients. So, no, appreciated, Varun. Thank you so much. And because, you mentioned you wanted to put me on spot. So I never say no. So I'll just sing a couple lines from this. It's a 90s, song. I'm sure everyone can relate to this. It's from Kayamat Se Kayamat Tak. गजब का है दिन सोचो जरा ये दीवानापन देखो जरा तुम हो अकेले हम भी अकेले मजा आ रहा है कसम से कसम से. Thank you so much, Varun.
Yay.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you for taking my request.
Thank you.
All right, Manish, you wanna?
No, I've already talked so much. Look, VK, I already told you guys. First of all, this is awesome that you do this, VK. Hats off to you, man. Stay active because you drive all of this. When Simi was on your show, when you were doing your radio show and you had her in and she was singing, like it touched the whole community. You've got to stay active yourself, no matter what's going on, and then keep it because you're like the glue. And then all of us jump in and kind of do our thing. And so you got to keep doing this, my friend. That's my only thing. And all the other panelists, you guys were awesome. And it's great to see my old buddy Ranjan. And it's nice to meet Mansi on the East and Ravi. And of course, Dr. T. We spend a lot of time with him when we're doing the OPI stuff with Amitesh. And, this is good, man. This is great stuff. And we want to hear more from Dr. T, where let's just have him alone. And then we'll be pinging him for questions, like, okay, what about the antibodies? Wait a minute, but what if I do this? And by the way, Dr. Tiwari, I had a COVID test. It was negative. So I'm good.
Oh.
now.
That is so good. So yeah, let's leave on a very happy note. Thank you once again, everyone, really from the bottom of my heart. And Manish, to your point, I definitely will try my best to be regular. And we'll have Dr. Tiwari as well, because I know there's a lot of anxiety and we really want to have a lot of confidence around, whenever we start opening up America, we really want that confidence in each one of us. So on that note, thank you once again. And thank you for taking this time. I'll see you very soon again. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Everybody have a
And
good
take
night.
care. Stay safe.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.